Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It's the second day here in Poland, the fourth race and the final race of this race weekend. We're so happy to see the trucks lining up. Everything is good all right here? Yeah. Looks good. So we're going to see and have a look at the trucks ahead of race number 4. The people are coming back to the stands right now. You know, they took the break, of course, taking some refreshments, as the venue is very good, perfectly provided with everything. That's little Steffi Harm fan over here. He catches some interviews. So you saw him yesterday in the pictures with this mini truck over here. Steffi Harm fans, hello. So, good atmosphere, and we hope to see a good race number 4. Our commentators are also very much prepared and always in a good mood, aren't you? Chaz Draycott, Joachim Eberts and Fonzie Severian.
Thank you, Christina. Yes, welcome back, everybody, to the final race of the weekend. Chaz Draycott here, commentating from the UK, with Joachim Eberts and Fonzie Severian on the German and Spanish streams as well. It's certainly great fun to be here at Poznań this weekend, and it's been a circuit that's really given us some wonderful racing. It's been great fun to watch, and there's a lot of great fans out there at the circuit as well, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the beautiful, beautiful weather that we have. And of course, the racing action on top of that as well. We have the trucks making their way round to the grid now to line up. You can see our usual official truck, the orange Ford F-Max, and the blue Iveco S-Way Pace truck just behind as well. But another machine we have on the grid just at the front there is an Iveco S-Way with the Krone e-trailer behind it. Now, Krone are taking this trailer all around Europe with us this year, and they have a lot of fantastic things going on with it. We'll go into that in just a moment, though, because Christina has an interview for us.
Yes, we want to talk to the fans of Steffi Harm. Moin Moin, wie heißt ihr?
Hallo, die Marleen.
Du bist?
Der Milo.
Und ich bin der Ronny.
Milo, Marleen und Ronny. So, this is the mini truck of Steffi Harm. Huge fans. Warum folgt ihr Steffi überall hin?
Ja, weil sie halt einfach toll ist und die einzige Frau im Rennsport und sich trotzdem immer durchsetzt. Also ist schon was Tolles.
Herzlichen Dank. So they're following her everywhere because she's the only female competing right now in the pack, and she's a great role model for all truck racers and also for female truck drivers. Thank you very much. Have fun.
Lovely to see it. And yes, absolutely, we really do cherish Steffi being on our grid. She's an absolute superstar, a wonderful character, and a very, very tough driver as well. And there she is, number 44, Steffi Harm, racing in the Iveco S-Way for this season. But as I was alluding to a moment ago, the Krone e-trailer joins us on our tour of Europe in 2023. Krone with this incredible rear axle electrically driven trailer. Basically takes a lot of the load, not just in terms of the power, but the emissions off the tractor unit at the front of the actual whole unit, let's say, as well. And Krone have been demonstrating not just the power and the sustainability of this thing, but the overall capability that it gives to the truck and the actual trailer as one whole unit together. So they're taking it around a lot of the circuits all over Europe with us, and they are setting lap records in what they are calling their mission record run. I was very, very lucky to see it in action at Misano at the start of the championship, and honestly, it took everybody's breath away with the just like completely unbelievable animalistic speed that the thing has. It's amazing to watch, it really is. And what was also amazing to watch, which caused the damage on the side of Jochen Hahn's truck there, was the first race of the day. And we're going to have a quick look now at some of the highlights. Antonio Albacete started on the front row alongside Norbert Kisch. And it was going to be one of those races we thought where two of the real titans of the championship would come together and have a really strong battle. Norby was ready to try and get normal service underway once more. But as the race got underway, there was an opportunity for Jamie Anderson to sneak up the inside of Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete. Unfortunately, all three of them made contact. Jochen Hahn backed out of it, caught the left rear wheel of Jamie Anderson's truck, which propped him up into the air, and then he went left into Antonio Albacete, who then hit the wall. The barrier has been repaired between races, though, and Antonio's truck was even prepared to get back out into the race, thanks to some very swift work from his team. And our cameras and Christina were down there to witness it all taking place. But as the bodywork was repaired and Tom bent the truck back into shape with his bare hands, the whole field was up and running once more. Sascha Lenz certainly was the one to watch, though, as he chased down Jochen Hahn for second position. Jochen, unfortunately, having issues with the toe on the front right of his truck, so the front right wheel not quite behaving as they would have wanted it to. Some of the battles in the middle of the pack were great to watch as well, with Lucas Hahn, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Steffi Halm all battling one another. But it was Norbert Kirsch at the front, while a few penalties got dished out in the form of 10 seconds for Jamie Anderson and for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Sascha Lenz couldn't quite get past Jochen Hahn before the end of the race, but it was another great spectacle in round 11 of the championship, and we now come to round 12.
We're here with Simon Richenhang. We had to run all the grid up. So this is the truck, this is the mission record run of Krone. How is it going?
Pretty good so far. We had an amazing lap. We did some good stuff on the racetrack. We would like to show that that the e-trailer could be emotional, because a lot of people say e-trailers, or especially electrification cars, are not that emotional. And yeah, I guess today we showed that it is very emotional with the e-trailer.
It's the second run, and of course we do see you where again?
At Nürburgring. At Nürburgring we are again, and we will set another record on the Nürburgring, and yeah, we are always looking forward.
Absolutely, we do as well. What do you say about the new technologies? You said it's not emotional. I cannot imagine why. I mean, the people have to understand that a race truck could also be electric.
Yeah, of course, it could be electric, and yeah, a lot of people think that it has to be a general fuel in the consumption, and yeah, but it's not necessary. Also, electrification is very powerful. It has a lot of emotional potential in it, so it don't have to be a diesel truck, and yeah, it can also be an electrified trailer.
Thank you very much, and welcome to the future, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much to Simon as well. Great to speak to him there, and I actually got the chance to meet him at Misano too. He's a lovely bloke, really knows his stuff, and there's a fantastic team of people that travel around with this Krone e-trailer and put a lot of effort into marketing it so well. And it really is a good thing to be part of. And obviously, like Christina says, welcome to the future. It's an amazing piece of kit, but also it's just exciting to look at. You know, it's exciting to witness how it behaves, and the way that they're marketing it, obviously showing it off on the racetrack, is awesome. Now, showing off on the racetrack, hopefully in this race with a front row start, is going to be Antonio Albacete, but the team here working hard to make sure that they can attach this new bodywork to the front right as well. They've obviously worked on the sort of more physical elements of the truck underneath to make sure it's all ready to go, but now the bodywork needs to be reattached and properly sorted, so that's what comes in the final moments here before the race gets underway. And the front end of the number 23 machine should be looking good as ever. It was a big hit, though, into the wall during the first part of race 3 earlier on. So luckily Antonio is okay, and luckily the truck is okay. The barrier, as I've been told, has been repaired between races. So that's all good, and obviously the reason that we can continue to go racing. And a big thanks to all the personnel and marshals and everybody around the circuit and all the people that make this all run smoothly. It's a beautiful thing to be part of. And of course, they keep us racing all over Europe in such a great, entertaining way. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez makes his way to the grid. He'll be starting from 10th position for this race. But in just a moment's time, we're going to be welcoming our TV viewers from all around the world. So those of you that have tuned into the live streams so far, thank you very much. Stay with us. We'll be welcoming our TV viewers, like I say, in just a moment, while T-Sport Benau continue on with these repairs on the front of Antonio Albacete's truck. I'm intrigued to see how he can do in this race. He's got another chance at a front row start. Let's see how he can get on. I'll be back with you in just a sec.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Poland. Welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It's the second day of round number 3. First time here in Poland at Tor Poznań. And as you can see, the weather is so good, so great to see all the smiley faces and happy people, because we are ahead of race number 4. And the schedule, we are punctual. That's a great effort from all the marshals. They needed to rebuild up that barrier that Antonio Albacete Albasetti crashed into race number 3 after a little touch-up with Jamie Anderson, and they were all quite near in row, but as you can see, we are ready to give it a go, and we're excited to see finally the trucks for the final race this weekend. And time flies so quick. And speaking of time flies, did you know that Tor Poznań is sharing a fence with the airport Ławica in Poland? So it's really close to the airport, but right now we want to see our trucks flying, and we want to talk to the important people, of course. May I present to you Mr. Bartosz Bilinski, the Vice President of the Polish Automobile Club, and his daughter Paulina, who's going to translate for me. Thank you very much, you both, and hello.
Hello.
Hello. So, Mr. Bilinski, how did you reflect on this event until now?
Ja myślę, że ten event jest naprawdę fajny. Cieszymy się, że samochody ciężarowe zawitały do nas do Poznania i zresztą widać to po kibicach. Tylu kibiców nie było jeszcze w Poznaniu.
We are so happy to have you here. We are so glad and amazed. As you can see, there's a lot of fans that came here, and this is for the first time that so many people came for the track of Poznań to see the track races. So we hope that you will be coming here, and we are happy to have you here right now.
And we do say congratulations, because you've been elected recently to the Vice President. So it's a time to celebrate for you.
Yes, thank you. Ale co?
No powiedz o swojej roli.
W polskim ASN-ie, czyli Polskim Związku Motorowym, będę odpowiadał za bezpieczeństwo ruchu drogowego, za wszystkie rzeczy związane nie ze sportem, tylko pozasportowe, czyli pojazdy zabytkowe, turystyka, ale przede wszystkim bezpieczeństwo ruchu drogowego.
This is such a new role because it's not connected to exactly like a sport, but it's outside the sport. So I'll be responsible for caravaning, road safety. I'll be also responsible for historic cars and other not sport part of the races and track.
Speaking of safety, we're so glad that the marshals, they did really great work. No delay ahead of race number 4. All the people, all the personnel helping. This is such a great team effort. I think we would want to thank them, but I think that you might thank them as well, the team.
Tak, mamy fajny zespół i tutaj robimy wspólnie jedną fajną imprezę, żeby wszyscy byli zadowoleni. Nie tylko kibice, ale też zawodnicy.
Yes, we are so happy to have that big team. We can also say that we are kind of a family. That's why it works so great. And we're happy that everyone is safe, everyone is happy, and that we can have everyone here and everything is working right.
We do think so as well. Thank you very much. Enjoy the final race of the weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Back to you, Chaz.
Lovely stuff. Fantastic to speak to them. Thank you very much to Paulina for translating as well. Great to see it. So, there is the front end of Antonio Albasetti's machine. Looking a bit more fine and dandy than it was. The side will not be running with the bodywork on it though, so that's going to be an interesting thing to keep an eye on over the course of the race, because we don't want people dinging off the side of that, do we? There is Steffi Helm and Lucas Hahn on the second row of the grid. Lucas starting this race in third position. Mark Taylor will be the man on pole, so certainly he's got a lot of work to do here. Antonio Albasetti alongside him as well. It's certainly a good chance for Antonio to take a race victory, but we'll have to wait and see, won't we? We've seen a lot of very, very different scenarios going on in this championship, where drivers look like they're up for a really good race, and then it can very quickly fall apart. Chaz Draycott here in the UK with Antonio Albasetti down on the grid with Christina.
Yes, and a lot of duct tape, but this is not the important part. The windscreen change and lots of more. And you saw your team running up. You saw lots of helping hands. How did they cope with the situation you had?
Yeah, I think, it was not a good situation, yesterday we have something similar. Today, I was in the first corner, okay, I was in the outside, leaving a space, no closing the door to anyone, but I just have hitting, and then just go off, Anderson was in front of me. It was a big mess. So, yeah, the team worked quite a lot to fix the track. We were not able to go in our position, in second position. I don't know why. I think we have time enough to go with the green light, but they closed the pit lane. And yeah, now we are starting from row. I hope nothing happens again, I hope we can finish the race.
Keeping your fingers crossed. You have such a great experience, of course, but I know you need to steam off a bit after that, of course. How do you deal with yourself with this situation? Because you were on P2 and then obviously lost a lot.
Yeah, I mean, well, you have to forget about, it's difficult to forget, and just now concentrate in this new race and try to do my best.
Thank you very much. Keep going, Antonio Albacete and the team. Great effort.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Christina, for catching up with Antonio Albacete and finding out exactly what he's thinking ahead of this next race and the final race of the weekend. We've got the Ford F-Max on its inspection lap at the moment. It's great to have Ford and their wonderful support in our championship. The inspection lap is basically just to make sure that there's nothing untoward, no debris, spillages, dust or anything that could affect the racing in a negative way. And the F-Max does a very high-speed inspection lap, we can tell you that for free. It's a wonderful bit of kit, really does move well, and of course it looks fantastic as well. And that is thanks to the 233 prototype units that were used in developing this machine, over 15,500 hours of lab testing and 5 million kilometres at least of road testing as well. So it's a very well-refined machine, and we are grateful to have at least 2 of them in our paddocks as the year moves on. We have the orange one here that does all of the inspection laps and gets thrown around the circuits, and then there's a blue and white example as well, which you'll be able to see if you come to some of our events in the Innovation Camp. Here is the circuit that we're at then, Poznań in Poland. 14 corners, 4 kilometres long, and it is so tough, this place. It really does have some great potential overtaking opportunities, but drivers just have to be so careful when they're in some of these battle packs that they've got, that if they send it down the inside, the truck behind doesn't take advantage and try and pick them off. Big Pan, turn 1, and then the little kink down towards Devil Smile at turn 3 is a big pinch point, and then of course Small Pan, which is Corn, turn 6, is another hairpin where drivers do send it down the inside quite often. The bottom section of the circuit, the bottom of your track map there, isn't usually a place for overtaking. We've seen a lot of drivers following on from one another through there and making sure that they don't overdo it. But again, it's one of these circuits that demands a lot of concentration from drivers, and because it's our first time here in this championship's history, there is a very level playing field coming into this weekend, and we've seen a number of drivers find some fantastic pace and bring it right out of the woodwork. There is the Iveco S-Way, just making its way around. It's a bio-LNG powered Iveco S-Way. And at the moment, it's just doing a sort of secondary inspection lap of the circuit to make sure. It would normally be our pace truck that leads the field away, but unfortunately here at Poznań there's a very low bridge later on in the lap, which means that the truck cannot make it underneath and complete a full lap of the track. It was unfortunately the same for the Krona E-trailer earlier on, as that is towed by an Iveco S-Way as well. It's not just the Iveco S-Way's fault though, it's not because that thing is too tall, but pretty much any truck of this sort of specification would be too tall as well. So we have in its place a wonderful little Iveco Daily, which Frank the Tank, our pace truck driver, will be driving. And you'll see him lead the field away in just a few minutes' time when we go on to our green flag lap. There is turn 13, and there is the aforementioned bridge, which unfortunately, like I say, is just a little bit too low for some of our machines. The racing trucks can get under there just fine though, which is the best news of all, and obviously means that we can go racing here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Final race of the weekend coming up though. It's going to be a tough one for a lot of our drivers. There's going to be a few of them starting a bit further down that may not quite know how hard to push in the early stages here. Like I say, this is only the second time in history that we've had a reverse grid race here. There's a number of the chief engineers for some of our drivers on the grid. We usually get a really cool shot of all of these guys shouting go when the lights go green, just to give their driver that instant moment of, right, get on with it, in their earpiece. Because sometimes you cannot actually see the start-finish line lights when you're in the middle of the pack and stuck behind other trucks. It's quite an iconic part of truck racing, really, with having a rolling start. There's usually a big group of them all, and they shout go all at the same time. Like I say, we've had some great camera shots of it in the past, so we'll see whether we get one again here. But now the trucks leave the grid on the green flag lap, and it is Mark Taylor starting at the front of the field. He's had a great weekend so far in the Promoters Cup for the Chrome category drivers, and he has a great chance here at taking a category victory as well, because behind him The next Chrome driver is Lucas Hahn in third position, but after that you've got a good 6 or 7 trucks between them and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Stefan Fast, John Newell, Jonathan Andre and Louis Requenco as well. So if Mark can stick it out in the battles and hold off Lucas Hahn, then he could potentially take a Promoters' Cup win, if not an overall race win. Here's your grid then. Mark Taylor and Antonio Albacete, 2 drivers with very contrasting weekends so far, it's safe to say. Second row of the grid, Lucas Hahn won the second race of the day yesterday, and he was joined as well by Steffi Halm, who starts this race in 4th, on the podium in race 2 yesterday. Behind them, Andrei Kurzim lines up 5th with Sasha Lenz alongside him on the 3rd row of the grid. Sasha's going to be looking for some big points from this one. And then behind them, Jochen Hahn and Norbert Kish. 10 championships between the pair of them on that 4th row of the grid. Next up after his penalty, and well, both of these drivers receiving penalties in the first race, Jamie Anderson and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Jamie's for contact, Jose Eduardo's for overspeeding. Stefan Fast starts 11th alongside John Newell, 2 of the Promoters' Cup drivers on the 6th row of the grid. And then we have Jonathan Andre and Louis Requenco lining up at the back of the field. Unfortunately, not any sign of Heinrich Clemens Hecker in this final race of the weekend. He wasn't in qualifying earlier today either, or the earlier race, due to a technical issue that they could not fix overnight, nor could they fix it at the circuit during the day today. So it's a real shame, but we hope to see them back again soon, and we look forward to the next time we have them on our screens. Heinrich Clemens Hecker has continually been getting quicker and quicker and always improving. So he's right amongst the battles these days as well within the Promoters' Cup. But there is our field, 14 trucks strong, with Mark Taylor at the very front of it. Now he's going to have the inside line for turn 1. Antonio is going to have the inside line for turn 3 if he plays his cards right, but I imagine after the earlier incident he's not going to want to hold it around the outside for too long up there. But now we come around the final couple of corners with the Iveco Daily leading the way. And I think that we're in for a real barnstormer of a race here. We're going to get 11 laps here at Tor Poznań. The counter in the top left of your screen will tell us how many laps we've completed. So just add 1 onto it. And I think this is going to be a real exciting one to watch. The second row of the grid in particular, Lucas Hahn and Steffi Halm, I think they're going to be pushing very hard from the get-go, knowing that some of the bigger hitters are right behind them. I mean, Sasha Lenz on the outside line is a definite threat immediately in this race. He won't want Antonio Albacete to claw back many points from this one. So, round last right we go, turn 14 here at Poznań. And as the red lights are on, round 12 of the 2023 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship is go. And Mark Taylor seems to have reacted really well initially there. It looks like he's got a good run, but I can't quite tell how close Antonio Albacete is. I think he might just have his nose in front, actually. The Spaniard trying to go around the outside into Big Pan at turn 1. He's going to try and squeeze Mark to the inside. Lucas Hahn is putting him under pressure as well. It's nice and tidy further back in the pack. John Newell tucking in behind Stefan Fast. But as expected, if Antonio can hold the speed around the outside here, he's going to have the inside line for turn 3. Let's see what he can do on the brakes. Antonio, with all of his experience, using it wisely there to get it tucked in for turn 3. Lucas Hahn tries to get to the inside line as well. Norbert Kish is ahead of Jochen Hahn. And now Andrei Kurzim, who's had a bit of a slow getaway. I think Sasha Lenz has gone through down the inside as well, as Antonio and Mark both run wide. Oh, there's contact there. Big contact. That was Lucas Hahn, the front right of his truck, hitting the left rear of Mark Taylor, who's come back on, and then contact again with Sasha Lenz and Steffi Halm. It's all fallen apart for Mark Taylor. No, no, no. That's not what he wanted at all. More contact between them as well at turn 6. There was a little bit of a rub there, I think, from Sasha Lenz and Steffi Halm as they went through together. More contact as they go through 7 into 8. And now Sasha digs up behind Lucas Hahn. Norbert Kish nearly coming through as well there. Look at Norby already on the prowl ahead of Mark Taylor. Hopefully no big damage for Mark. But I think just running out of turn 4, one of them ran wide. I think Lucas Hahn actually in third place just ran a little bit deep on the exit, getting on the throttle a bit early, and then just coasted sideways into Mark Taylor, which has propped him up in the air. And Andre Kurzim is now behind him with Jamie Anderson in there, Jochen Hahn as well. But it's Antonio Albacete leading the way. Lucas Hahn second place. Sasha Lenz up there in third. I mean, Antonio's truck looks like it's been through 18 rounds with a T-Rex, doesn't it? It looks like it's been absolutely battered. But it's still going. You couldn't kill that thing with a stick, as one of my favourite commentators said a long, long time ago. Lucas Hahn next up, Sasha Lenz third, then Steffi Halm, Norbert Kish, Mark Taylor in sixth place. So he's dropped down a number of positions, but not too many. He's still second in the Promoters' Cup. And if he can finish there, still ahead of the likes of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Stefan Fast, Louis Requenco, down there just outside the top 10. Then that'll be 4 podiums from 4 in the Promoters' Cup for Mark. And that would be considered a very good weekend. Andre Kurzim's got Jamie Anderson and Jochen Hahn all over the back of him. John Newell looking down the inside of Louis Requenco. But there's your race leader, Antonio Albacete, just taking it a bit easy on the exit of turn 4 there. He's had a bit of a wobble, ran a little bit wide, kicked up some dust. It's easy to do here at Poznań, though. It's an old school circuit in some ways, with the fact that it's just grass either side of the circuit. There's no real major runoff areas for anyone to take the mick with track limits. And that's exactly how we love it as well. It's the fact that these drivers really have to stick to the track limits. You know, they're enforced way more here than they are at a lot of circuits that we go to, where sometimes it's all just painted runoff areas and concrete, so it's fine if they run wide, really, because they don't lose too much speed. But obviously they just get a telling off for it. Norbert Kish all over the back there of Steffi Halm, trying to get through for 4th position, as the rest of the field filters their way through turns 9 and 10. Antonio Albacete opening up the gap at the lead here. It's 1.7 seconds last time they triggered any of the timing beams. We'll have to wait and see how it looks now as he comes across the line. Is Norbert Kish going to go down the inside? No, he's not. He's waiting for a chance to try and pop a move on Steffi Halm. He'll maybe try and get some sort of cutback out of the first corner. Stefan Fast gets very close to that penalty marker then. He was a little bit squirrely out of turn 14. Managed to keep it all together, though, in beautiful fashion. I know it's slightly unrelated, but it seems to have gone very dark all of a sudden here in the UK. There's a huge storm cloud just come over. I've had to turn my lights on just to be able to see my notes. Right now, we need to, well, turn the dust clouds off, to be fair. It's hard to see anything through all the dust on the exit of turn 1. It's not been a major problem this weekend, but there's certainly been a lot of it. I wouldn't like to be emptying out that camera at the end of the weekend. There's a black and white flag for turn 9 for Lucas Hahn. That is for track limits. Thank you again to Daria for sending all the information over from race control. She'll get all of the decisions and warnings and all sorts as and when they happen. As Norbert Kish sends one up the inside now into turn 6. Big dive on the brakes and a lovely textbook manoeuvre there to get past Steffi Halm. Steffi gave plenty of room for the manoeuvre to be done cleanly down the inside. She didn't cut across in the braking zone or cause any contact. So nice clean racing once again there as we're on lap 3 of the race. And Norby now chasing down Sasha Lenz, his key title rival from the last couple of seasons, as well as Jochen Hahn, who seems to be having another slow start to this race. I'm not sure if they fixed the issue that they had earlier on, but the number 2 machine doesn't seem to be at full chat in these 3rd and 4th races of the weekend, does it? Whether that's just because he's getting held up by the trucks in front of him, I'm not sure. We'll have to see if he gets into some clean air a little bit later on. There is Norbert Kish, reigning champion, reigning double champion. He's won the championship 4 times, though. He's hoping to make it a hat-trick 3 in a row this year. That's only been done in the past by Jochen Hahn. Norby would be the 2nd driver in history to repeat that incredible feat. Asserting great dominance on a lot of the field here. But it's easier said than done. A lot of people would already consider the championship his with the form that he's been on, but it can very quickly change. We've all seen changes in fortune in motorsport before. You never know what can happen. Still chasing down Sasha Lenz. He's not making the move just yet. He's keeping it nice and clean, nice and tidy, as all of our racing is, of course, on 100% renewable HVO diesel. There's been a reduction of over 90% of the emissions from our racing trucks. There's also black smoke rules in the championship, so if the trucks emit too much black smoke, there's observers around the circuit that will notice that and report it back to those necessary. And there are lambda sensors in the exhaust systems as well that measure certain chemicals and elements in the emissions that come out of these trucks. So obviously if it exceeds certain values and certain figures, then they will get a black and orange flag, which is basically a technical infringement flag, and they will get called into the pit lane to sort it out in whatever way they can. Lucas Hahn doing a good job in second place right now, holding on from Sascha Lenz and Norbert Kish. I think at this moment in time, Norby is just waiting for Sascha to try and make a move on Lucas. And then that could potentially open the door for him to make a move of his own and try and come through. Now, hopefully we don't see a repeat of how the virtual version of the championship went over winter when they were here, because Norbert Kish and Lucas Hahn were both racing in that. And there was quite a lot of contact at Poznań. Obviously not as much consequence in the simulator or in the racing games. But it was still great to have, in inverted commas, real drivers taking part in such events. Apparently the start of the race is under investigation, I've been told. So we'll wait and see what the news is on that. I'll give you any updates as and when I get them. Now look at what Norby's doing here. He's taken a wider entry into turn one to focus on the exit. He's not quite got the exit that he would have wanted, but he took a wider line on the way in, so he doesn't have to keep slowing down mid-corner and compromising for the difference in pace to the trucks ahead. As it looked like Lucas Hahn went a little bit deep into turn 3 there. Sascha Lenz getting very close to the back of him. Fantastic quintet just back there as well, actually, led by Andre Kurzim. Then it's Jamie Anderson, Jochen Hahn, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Stefan Faas. Mark Taylor's in a bit of no man's land at the moment. He's only got about a second and a bit either side of him, but he's up there in 6th place, second in the Promoters' Cup. It would be a great weekend if he can finish it by remaining in 2nd place in the class. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez may only be a couple of trucks back, but that can change very, very quickly. Lucas Hahn, as you see there, with the damage on the front right of his truck. It won't make much of a difference. It may look quite dramatic, but they're not very aerodynamically dependent, these racing machines. It's more about mechanical grip and the platform that they have underneath them instead of having a certain fin or something on a front wing. Of course, it can all help for cooling. You will see a difference in the designs from one truck to the next as the teams almost have free reign over what they can do with the bodywork. And Antonio Albacete, well, he's got free reign at the front of the field at the moment. Doing a great, great job of leading this race after what's been a very difficult weekend for him and the team. They had a great one to start the season at Misano, but since then they've had this real seesaw of bad luck and incidents. And I hope that for their sake it all changes. They're a local team actually to me almost here in the UK. They're probably about an hour's drive away still, as there goes a bit of bodywork off the front of Lucas Hahn's machine. So finally that flapping piece has come away. It's probably a bit of a relief for him more than anything, because sometimes when there is bodywork that is flapping around that could potentially fly off in any direction, the drivers can sometimes get a black and orange flag and get warned to come in to get it all fixed and get that bodywork ripped off before it causes further issue. But right now we're on lap 6 here at Poznań into the second half of the race. Antonio Albacete leads. He's got 3.5 seconds over Lucas Hahn, Sascha Lenz and Norbert Kish, the trio that you see on your screen here. Steffi Helm is then in 5th position. Mark Taylor is 6th, second in the Promoters' Cup. Then we have Andre Kurzim 7th, Jamie Anderson 8th, Jochen Hahn 9th, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in 10th, 3rd in the Promoters' Cup. And then the remainder of the field is Promoters' Cup drivers. Stefan Faas, John Newell, Jonathan Andre next up in 13th, Louis Rukwenko in 14th position at the back of the pack. And don't forget Norbert Kish set a lap record in the previous race earlier on, a 1:57.893. They're all in the 58s and 59s at the moment, so he's not quite matching that same pace, but obviously he's got people in front of him. He's not got clear air in front. And there's a drive-through penalty there for truck number 24, which is Stefan Faas. That is a big, big shame. He's at the back of this pack here trying to pick his way forward, but I'm afraid a drive-through penalty has been given to him And that is going to change his race in a very negative way, I'm afraid. And it was over-speeding before the start. So that's where it's all come from. That's where the investigation has led from earlier that I mentioned. There is number 24, Stefan Fass, for tank pool 24. He'll probably get the flag this time round and then pit next time. His team will only tell him now that he crosses the line. It says drive through on the whiteboard, and then the blackboard, of course, with the big number 24 on it. He will not be too chuffed to see that, to say the least. But I'm afraid that's just part of racing. No matter whether it's during the start of the race, after it, or even before it, you still have to adhere to these overspeeding rules. It is all on safety grounds at the end of the day. Now, interestingly, there is, I believe it's a green flag that's flashing and waving down there at turn 3, but I think it might have been a yellow flag as well. Jamie Anderson makes a move on Andre Kurzim down the inside into turn 3, so I'm hoping for his sake it's definitely not a yellow flag. It might have just been for some debris. It was reported that there was debris down there at turn 3. But I'm not sure that they would yellow flag it for the entire race for a bit of debris. We've had debris trackside before and not seen any major issues from it. Look at Lucas Hahn here. It's almost like you could take one of the number 2s off the front of that truck and off the side of it, and you could tell us it's Jochen Hahn here because he's defending so well at the moment from Sascha Lenz and Norbert Kish. Maybe these guys are waiting for their opportunity to just grab another position. And they may be just waiting until a little bit later in the race so that the driver they overtake doesn't have much opportunity to come back at them with another move. And there is an investigation between Jamie Anderson and Steffi Halm, apparently. I'm not quite sure when that's happened because Steffi is up there in 5th position and Jamie is down there in 8th. Whether it was contact at the very start of the race, I'm not sure. I don't even think they started near each other on the grid. No, Steffi was up in 4th place and Jamie was in 9th, so not sure what that one's about, but we'll get answers when we can. There goes Stefan Fass into the pit lane. Everybody running out of the way, as you can expect. And there he is now, making his way down the pit lane. Such a shame for Stefan. The race had a lot of potential for him. But back on with the job at hand. Back out of the pit lane now, on the loud pedal. And down the start-finish straight towards turn 1. And Jonathan Andre is right on the scene. Oh, cuts across the nose. And at least he's still got somebody to battle. And still, there's a battle going on here near the front of the pack with Lucas Hahn holding on. As I can tell you for a fact, the dark storm cloud that's just come over here in the UK has now just unleashed a very loud amount of thunder. So, yeah, very different conditions here than we're seeing in Poznań in Poland right now. Obviously for the better, with the fact that Poland looks lovely right now in the sunshine on lap 8 out of 11 here with the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And look at this, actually, from Steffi Halm's perspective. Mark Taylor is sticking with her right now. Mark has unleashed some great pace this weekend. There's been a wonderful improvement from him. It's his first season with the championship, so he's always getting quicker and quicker. Right now, Mark just wants to try and pick off whatever positions he can to just get those extra championship points. Make hay while the sun shines, they say, and the sun is definitely shining. The grass may look a bit like hay at the moment because it's been so dry over there. But Mark is doing a wonderful job at sticking with Steffi. Another reminder that our trucks run on 100% renewable HVO diesel. I believe it's hydro-treated vegetable oil is what HVO stands for. I did have it written down somewhere, but I always forget, admittedly. I know as a commentator I should probably know that, but still, it's great that the championship can go racing like we can with green, clean fuels, and Well, there's a green, clean manoeuvre down the inside there from Sasha Lenz. He often runs his branding colours as green. Obviously, he's wearing the purple of Apollo tyres this season. And he's got down the inside of Lucas Hahn, and he's got in front, has he? Yes, he has. Norbert Kish on the scene as well. They're side by side as they lean out of turn 4 into turn 5 and now 6. Norby's around the outside, I should say. Does he get it stopped well enough? Oh, I don't know. Lucas Hahn wants to put his nose back down the inside. Is there going to be contact on the exit? Not quite. Norby gets rid of the overlap, and now Sasha Lenz and Norbert Kish are unleashed in second and third positions. Lucas Hahn doing everything right, though, in my eyes. He did a really solid job. Sasha just had to get it done and get it sent up the inside. He would have been hoping that Lucas was able to hold him off for a couple of corners, but that wasn't to be. And now he finds himself, sure, up a position, but so too is Norbert Kish. Steffi Halm holding off Mark Taylor for now. Kurzim, Anderson and Jochen Hahn in there too. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in 10th position right now. And there's no further action between Jamie Anderson and Steffi Halm. Like I say, it surprises me those numbers came into contact with one another, with Steffi starting 4th and Jamie starting down in 9th. But still, I've had it confirmed, so thank you to those in race control. And thank you to Antonio Albacete, because he's certainly going to provide us with a lovely fairy story of a weekend, isn't he? Do they call it a fairy story? Or have I just completely made that up out of nowhere? I don't know. Either way, Antonio Albacete has given us a good storyline for his weekend. The fact that he had such a big crash in that race earlier, a great recovery and repair effort by the team, and then obviously a great recovery effort by himself as well. And he had to do it yesterday too, with a big job of the team repairing the truck and then getting on with the job. And look at this behind Steffi Halm now. Steffi clearly does have some damage or something holding her back here, because Taylor, Kurzim, Anderson, Hahn and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez are all piling in behind. And Norbert Kish is piling on. The pressure right now on Sasha Lenz, one way then the other down towards turn 6. There was nearly a little bit of contact there, as the thunder roars once again outside the house. Luckily, and I touch wood when I say this, but luckily in recent times my internet connection's been a lot more reliable thanks to the installation of fibre, so I'm still here with you all, folks. I don't have to spend my weekend apologising for the fact that I'm disappearing every 2 or 3 minutes. And I tell you who is going to be wishing that Norbert Kish was disappearing right now, and that is Sasha Lenz. He really doesn't want to see Big Baloo filling his mirrors at the moment. Baloo being the name of the gorgeous MAN that Revesh Racing runs so successfully in this championship. And with 1 lap to go here at Poznań after what's been an amazing weekend of racing, Sasha Lenz just needs to hold on for 1 more tour of Tour Poznań. And there's the battles further behind. Steffi Halm in 5th place. Mark Taylor under pressure from Andrei Kurzim just behind as well. But still great battling going on. Jamie Anderson in there as well, trying to pick off an opportunity on Kurzim. And Norby now moving around behind Sasha Lenz to try and fill the mirrors, to just try and get in his head that little bit more. Sasha, a driver that reeks of confidence. He's a real joker as well at times, is Sasha. Oh, Norby pushes a little bit too hard out of Big Pan. Puts 2 wheels on the dirt, maybe even 3. I don't think that's done him any favours, because now his prime overtaking opportunity down into turn 3 is gone. Is he going to be able to send anything down the inside into turn 4? We'll have to wait and see. Everything remaining status quo behind as well. Everyone just sitting where they are. Albacete is gone at the front of the field here, isn't he? So far in his career, he's had 108 race victories. This is going to be race win 109 if he keeps it where it is. And right now, Sasha Lenz is going to be on form here. If he keeps Norby behind, it'll be a fantastic defensive effort. As always, a little bit late turning into turn 9, but Norby has to back out of it, make sure that he doesn't make contact with the back of him. Nearly contact between the two of them, though. It was very, very close, wasn't it? Everybody else in the field keeping it nice and tidy. Andre Kurzim has been overtaken by Jamie Anderson, though, in the middle of the field. But what about this for a story? Antonio Albacete was in the wall, off the circuit, and back into the paddock after just a few moments of race 3, but he's going to come round the final corner and win race 4, and T-Sport Bernau have done it. You can see the team members really happy on the pit wall. Very well done to Antonio and T-Sport Bernau, and Sasha Lenz takes second place over Norbert Kish, while Lucas Hahn gets drifting all the way down the start-finish straight and takes another win in the Promoters' Cup. Very well done to Lucas. And second place going the way of Mark Taylor as well. That's his second place of the day in the class. And also Jose Eduardo Rodriguez behind them means that it's the same podium 2 races in a row in the Promoters' Cup. But there you go. Sasha Lenz gets 2 podiums today. Norbert Kish gets 2 podiums today. And Antonio Albacete rounds out a difficult race weekend with a win for the team. He and everybody there will be delighted with that one. And another great race to round out a weekend here at Poznań. This circuit has provided some fantastic racing. It's been a really, really good fun event. And a lot of people will be really happy because it's pretty much an early finish for them as well, to be fair. It's just going to be turned 4 o'clock local time in a moment. It's 3 o'clock in the UK here at the moment. It's a lot earlier than we're normally finishing, and it's amazing how quickly the day has gone. There's Sasha Lenz doing some top-notch drifting behind Antonio. And I think, to be fair, Antonio is just going to guide the truck back gently now. It's been through a lot this weekend, has that machine. But you literally saw the guys, before the race started, putting the Allen keys in and bolting that front piece of bodywork on. And it's just those little tweaks that can make a difference, and they've got it to the flag at the front of the pack. Very well done to Antonio, using every ounce of his experience there to get the team a victory. That's his 2nd win of the season, and it's going to be his 6th appearance on the podium. And interestingly, another narrative that I'm following this season is the total podiums battle between him and Jochen Hahn. He's clawed one back over Jochen now. There once again, Sasha and Norby doing some drifting together, Lucas Hahn getting involved also. It's a hell of a spectacle. Not only seeing trucks race, but seeing trucks drift as well is quite remarkable. So Norbert Kish will be very happy to have got another podium at least out of that. That's the first time this season he's been on the podium when not winning a race. And that was the 12th race of the championship. He's won 8 races now this season. And he is on true form once again. 7 Fast doing a bit of drifting there as well, so clearly not too deterred by the penalty that he got earlier on. But Norbert Kish extends his championship lead here at Poznań. And as we come away from this race meeting and go to the Nürburgring in a couple of weeks' time, everybody's going to be super excited to see what that event brings. It's going to be a real belter, I'm sure. Now, I'm not even sure if you can hear it in the background, but honestly, it's raining that hard in the UK here now that you could probably hear it through my microphone, to be honest with you. But then again, it might be a testament to the quality of this microphone if you can't hear it. Anyway, enough about me and the weather. The weather doesn't matter, does it? There is Antonio Albacete. He doesn't care about the weather back in the UK because he has just won the final race of the weekend. And again, like they did in Misano, they come away from a race weekend with such positive thoughts in their mind about the capability of this machine and their driver. And it will really help them going forward towards the Nürburgring to go into that race meeting as the last driver, or the latest driver, to win a race. You can see a bit of damage on the grille of Baloo, actually. Norbert Kish's machine, the MAN badge has been pushed in slightly there. I'm not sure if that was down to something in the opening laps. Mark Taylor just behind. Great weekend for Taylor's Truck Sport as well. They've got 3 second places in the Promoters' Cup this weekend and a 3rd place in race 1. That is excellent, excellent stuff, considering that he came into this race weekend with just 1 podium in the category. It'll be a big thumbs up from Mark. Absolutely, for sure. He's now coming away with 5 podiums in the Promoters' Cup. And Lucas Hahn gets his 3rd win in the category on the bounce as well. There is Antonio Albacete, and a big hug to Tim Frost. Tim will be over the moon with his team and everybody involved for that one. And a big handshake from Norbert Kish to Antonio and a big pat on the chest as well. Very well done, mate. And this is what I mean, you know, the camaraderie there. You can tell how genuine a reaction that was from Norbert Kish. He's happy for his competitors to have got such a great result, you know, and to share that love amongst drivers is just awesome. There's Lucas Hahn making his way to the pit lane. Also saw there for a moment Davide Califano. And Antonio, a man of experience, looking at his truck thinking, wow, there's not much left of it, but it did the job. It certainly did do the job. And again, look, Lucas there congratulating the team, saying well done to them on another great result. And it's all just such positive emotion, you know. And there was Big Tom at the back as well, ready to celebrate with the team. Here's your race result then. Antonio Albacete takes the win in round 12 of the championship from Sasha Lenz and Norbert Kish. A great podium indeed. Lucas Hahn takes 4th place and wins the Promoters' Cup category ahead of Steffi Halm in 5th place. Mark Taylor finishes 6th outright. Great result for Mark. And of course, big points for the Promoters' Cup championship. Jamie Anderson finishes 7th ahead of Andre Kurzim, with Jochen Hahn down in 9th place. Not quite the race he would have wanted. And Jose Eduardo Rodriguez 2nd in the Promoters' Cup. Sorry, 3rd in the Promoters' Cup, rounding out the top 10. Then it's John Newell and Stefan Fass ahead of Jonathan Andre, and Louis Requenco unfortunately retired before the end of the race. So that may have been part of the reason we saw the yellow flag down there at the end of turn 3. All of the personnel and vehicles now clear the way from the circuit. And we're going to go back down to Christina, as my director has very kindly just sung to me. So we're going to go speak to Antonio Albacete.
Yeah, that was a roller coaster weekend for Antonio Albacete. So what is the emotion that comes to your mind first right now?
Well, I mean, at least it's a victory for the team, you know, they work quite hard. But it's been a very bad weekend. I mean, we have very bad luck, you know. But okay, this is racing. Sometimes you are on the top, sometimes you are on the bottom. But yeah, at least we have a victory, so I'm happy with this victory, but we should have better results this weekend. I think we are faster, and if we don't have more problems, we should have more points on the championship. But anyway, we keep fighting. Next one.
Absolutely, next one. We'll have a look at the truck. Maybe, Mike, maybe you can join me. I mean, at least it comes in one piece, but how many problems did you have during that race?
Yeah, I mean, at least in one piece from this race, but because we have no more spare parts. But no, I mean, this race was not just in the first 2 corners. It was a little bit of contact, but no, then I couldn't manage to be in front. I want to go faster the first laps, you know, because I thought, well, maybe Jochen, Sacha, or even Norby will come quickly to me, you know. So I want to make a gap to be sure for the last lap of the race.
Lucas Hahn was also putting his elbows out and maybe protecting you from that. As you said, you looked at in the rear mirror.
Yeah. I was looking them, and I saw that Lucas was fighting there. And yeah, I was saying, okay, good for the moment, you know. But I knew that they will come. Yeah.
But they didn't reach you. You're here on the first position. Congratulations.
Yeah, we were lucky in that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Up to the podium, maybe enjoying with the team. The champagne is on the team, I think.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. A lot of hard work went into this weekend for T-Sport Bernau, and as Antonio rightly said there, you know, it's not the results overall for the weekend that they would have been hoping for based on the pace and capability they've got, but at least they've still got a silver lining there in the form of a race victory. There's the big chunk taken out of the front of Lucas Hahn's Iveco. You can see the way that the bumper bar is even bent backwards slightly there from the contact that he's had as that bodywork has been ripped away. These trucks do look like they've had a bit of a tough weekend, don't they? But that's truck racing, you know, these things are colossal machines. It's very difficult to go through a race without any contact at all. And it just, again, shows you how sturdy not just the machines are, but the drivers as well, mentally knowing what they can go through over the course of a race and pushing on and giving us the fantastic entertainment that they so often do. That is Jose Eduardo Rodriguez's machine, and he takes his 3rd podium of the weekend. He won the Promoters' Cup in the first race of the weekend, and then since then has finished 3rd in races 3 and 4. In fact, actually, Lucas Hahn and Mark Taylor have always finished with Lucas in front of Mark, but they've just sort of moved around in terms of the order. They were 2nd and 3rd in race 1, and then for races 2, 3 and 4, actually, it was Lucas Hahn winning the category with Mark Taylor in 2nd. It's just been the drivers in 3rd place that keep on changing. You can see a Ryanair 737 landing in the background there, actually, at the airport, which is right next door to Poznan's race circuit. And we've got the announcer making his way up onto the stage now, where the podium is. And we're going to get our overall top 3 done to begin with.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the official podium ceremony of Goodyear FIA European Track Racing Championship here in Poznań. Overall classification for...
Not sure if you can hear him over me, but that's why I tend to remain silent sometimes at these moments, just in case I'm just repeating what the announcer is saying. 3rd place going the way of Norbert Kish.
2nd place, Sasha Lenz.
And there you go, Sasha Lenz makes his way up to the podium in 2nd place. A great battle between those two on track for that one. It looked like they certainly enjoyed it. Great respect between the two of them. But a win for Antonio Albacete is his 109th race win in the history of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. He's a man of much experience. Here's Antonio, a 3-time champion in the past, winning the titles in 2005, 6 and 10. He's been a Spanish Formula Renault champion, Spanish touring car champion in the 90s. He was even a factory driver for 3 different manufacturers in a decade in the 1990s for Fiat, BMW and Opel. And his son also races actually quite a lot as well, does Tony Albacete. I bumped into him at Jarama last year while commentating on another championship as he raced in the Copa Saxo 8-valve. And yes, it is as crazy as you think it is. And it's as crazy as it sounds when you get 72 Citroën Saxos racing together on one circuit. And there you go, a 1st place trophy for Antonio Albacete and a big smile from the Spaniard. A very well-deserved trophy after a really tough weekend. And we will now get the national anthem of Spain for Antonio Antisport Bernau. And there you go, the Spanish national anthem. What a vibe that is. It's a lovely national anthem, isn't it? It's not one we hear too often, to be fair, but it's a real belter, I have to say. It's not often that I listen to a national anthem and sort of sit here bopping my head and, really enjoying it. But it's a great, great tune, that is. And Antonio Albacete will be very happy to hear it ringing out here at Tor Poznań after, like I say, a really rough weekend for the team. But still, they come away with at least a trophy for their efforts. And obviously some champagne as well. That's if Antonio doesn't pour it all over Norby and Sasha. The traditional changing of the caps for more pictures to be taken. And Antonio raises the trophy up high with pride. And a big thumbs up as well.
And now it's time for the champagne.
Now let's see who gets drenched in this champagne. I imagine after the weekend he's had, Antonio's going to want to be absolutely soaked here. But we will see, won't we? And yeah, Norby's saying, are we getting him? Are we soaking him to Sasha? They certainly will do, I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I absolutely love it. Great camaraderie and banter between all of them. It's always good fun. Like I say, Sasha's a little troublemaker. He's brilliant. He's a real character, very funny bloke with a dry sense of humour. Oh, you've got to love it, haven't you? You have to love it. Excellent. Excellent stuff. That's for you, Antonio. Fair play. Fair play. Here are the championship standings then after round 12 of the season. Norbert Kirsch on a nicely rounded off 150 points, 30 points clear of Jochen Hahn, and that's an important figure because 30 points is the maximum amount you can get from a race day. You get 20 for race 1 and 30 for race 2. So Norby is officially 2 races clear of Jochen Hahn in the championship right now. Sascha Lenz next up on 103 points with Antonio just behind him on 101, and Andre Kurzim finds himself in a little bit of a middle ground there on 77 points. Then we have Stephanie Halm with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez just 2 points ahead of Jamie Anderson. Stefan Faas and Lucas Hahn round out your top 10. Behind them is Mark Taylor on 20 points now. He's got away from John Newell after that previous race, with Jonathan Andre in 13th position, Louis Requenco 14th, just 1 point ahead of Heinrich Clemens Hecker, who we hope to see back again very, very soon after the technical issues that they've had over the course of the weekend. Now we have our Promoters Cup podium going on. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez takes 3rd place in the category. Another high point scoring weekend for him again though, which is exactly what he needs to continue this amazing charge at the top of the standings. Mark Taylor finishes again in 2nd place, and a very well done to Mark. And Lucas Hahn once again on the top step of the podium. A great weekend for Lucas, and he'll be full of confidence heading to his home race meeting at the Nürburgring. As you'll have seen by now, there's a lot of German drivers and German involvement in the championship, so it's going to be a huge event there at the Nürburgring with so many people wanting to take glory. The drivers receive their trophies one by one, and Lucas Hahn will now receive his race winner's trophy for round 12 of the 2023 season. And there you go, big smile from Lucas, following in his father's footsteps already, isn't he, with the success and the pace that he's had from that machine. And now we get the national anthem of Germany. And there we go, the German national anthem for Lucas Hahn, race winner in the Promoters Cup in round 12 of the 2023 season. And they all pose on the top step for photographs, and we're going to be seeing 2 more of those drivers in just a moment's time. We'll explain that in a moment. Once again, Lucas launches a cap skyward, doesn't have to put any effort into throwing it because he's that strong a lad. And now the champagne corks are popped. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez sprays some towards the media and all of the fans as well. And Lucas joins in, of course. And cheers all round to the guys. And they all make their way off the podium and complete their race weekend with smiles on their faces, I am sure. We're going to have a look now at the Promoters Cup Championship standings. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on 155 points, similar to the overall standings, actually, with 150, 120, and then just over 100 for the third place driver. Stefan Faas is second, with Mark Taylor now in third place, I should say, 9 points clear of John Newell. Louis Requenco next up in 5th place. Lucas Hahn moves up into 6th, ahead of Jonathan Andre and Heinrich Clemens Hecker on 43 points so far. There's still potential for the battles to get closer and closer as the season goes on, though. And we look forward to Obviously seeing how that unfolds and how it develops at certain rounds of the championship, where we get race-by-race entrants that come in and don't do all the races over the course of the season. They just do the odd round here and there. So now we're going to have a look at the Young Driver Award. So this is going to be for the Young Star Trophy. So for drivers under a certain age in the championship this year, there is a presentation at the end of the weekend. This is only obviously when there's more than one, because now we have Lucas Hahn on the grid for these weekends. He has taken more points in this certain category over Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, who before now was the only one in said category. But the initiative is that this will, of course, bring in more young drivers in the championship to get involved and go truck racing as well, and really show us what the young talent can do. And hopefully in time the numbers do continue to get boosted and we'll get more drivers up on our podiums. But it's of course more trophies for these drivers and more accolades to go with them, as the brass band plays over to the right hand side, and we're going to have the German national anthem again for Lucas Hahn. And there you go, the German national anthem once again for Lucas Hahn, who wins the Young Star Trophy for this weekend here at Tor Poznań ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. And of course we'll have the same competition running over the course of the season, where we have more than one young driver, as so to speak, on the grid. Another great initiative from the championship, though, and the organisers to obviously bring as much talent into the field as we can, and that's obviously what it's all about here in our #OneTruck family. That's what we all want. It's all about inclusivity and making sure we've got as many people in as we can. It's nice and close, though, as you can see, with Lucas Hahn on 55 points after this weekend and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on 53. So still all to play for as the season goes on between those two and anybody else that comes in. But what we're going to do now is have a quick look back at the final race of the weekend highlights and see how it all unfolded with some of our finest pictures. Everybody was all ready to go in the sunshine for the last time this weekend at Poznań. It was certainly going to be a fantastic encounter with the reverse grid on offer, Mark Taylor at the front, and our Krona e-trailer making its way round to really get everybody's appetite wet, ready to go. As the lights went out, though, Mark Taylor made a pretty decent start, and Antonio Albersetti knew that all he needed to do was try and keep it down the inside into turn 3. There was a bit of argy-bargy, some contact in the middle of the pack, including Steffi Halm and Sasha Lenz as well, with Mark Taylor getting elbowed out wide slightly, but everybody managed to continue on, and the battles got underway. The main battle on track involved Norbert Kish and Sasha Lenz as they both tried to prod their way through and get past Lucas Hahn, but the young German was definitely not having any of it, and as he defended, Antonio Albersetti disappeared over the horizon while more battles ignited themselves further down. Unfortunately, Stefan Faas would get a penalty and have to have a drive-through that would knock him down out of contention from the top 10. While Steffi Halm was certainly having to defend before too long from Mark Taylor. Sasha Lenz and Norbert Kish got through past Lucas Hahn and would eventually go on to finish second and third in that order, but it was Antonio Albersetti at the front of the field that set the pace and got the job done in what was left of his truck after a very difficult weekend, and he can come away from this round at Tor Poznań with a race victory under his belt and a happy team heading towards the Nürburgring. Great results for Lucas Hahn, Mark Taylor and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and the Promoters' Cup will help them going forward as well. And of course, Norbert Kish comes away with an extended championship lead going into the next 4 rounds of the season, 13 to 16 in a couple of weeks' time. But Antonio was obviously reflective over the fact that they've not had the best weekend. So like I say, it's all going to be about their attitude going into the next race meeting, and hopefully we'll see the smiles continue from there. But what a great weekend, I'm sure you'll all agree. We've had a fantastic time here at Tor Poznań. I certainly hope to visit the circuit in person in future rounds. It'll be a great place to go. And the atmosphere, I'm sure, will remain very positive as we head towards the Nürburgring. I've been Chaz Draycott with the wonderful Joachim Eberts and Fonzie Cebrian on the German and Spanish streams as well. I hope you've all really enjoyed the commentary and, of course, enjoyed the racing action as well, and the dry humour, hopefully, to go with it. And there is Jamie's old man making his way back with the trophy. Obviously the team awards going on at the moment as well, so members of the teams obviously pick up points as well, and they get their trophies at the end of each race based on how much they score as a combined effort. A lot of them have 2 trucks per team, and they team up over the course of the season to just go head-to-head basically in a separate competition. We have the likes of Norbert Kish and Antonio Albertetti, for example, Azravesh and T-Sport. We're going to go back down to Christina though, who's there in the paddock for us.
Yes, absolutely. We're talking about the future, and this is the future. The 2 young drivers, they won the trophy. We thought that our stadium announcer is silent, but I hope you can hear me. So congratulations this weekend, Lucas Hahn, for winning the first time this trophy. This is a new award to cheering to our new young drivers and our future in the truck racing sport. What does that mean to you, that you've got the support from the ITRA for you being in this championship?
Yeah, it's a nice opportunity for the young drivers to stay here with the big drivers. You know, it's a really good opportunity also for Jose Rodriguez and me, and maybe in the future more young drivers to have our own championship inside the whole ETRC-ITRA family.
Gostaria também de anunciar que mais jovens pilotos vão entrar neste campeonato?
Sim, eu penso que é uma mais-valia para o Campeonato da Europa, para nós pilotos também, termos jovens a iniciarem-se, para no futuro podermos ter corridas boas como temos tido até ao dia 2.
He also said that it's going to be really big fun seeing lots more young drivers entering this competition to keep the fire up, as we can say. How do you speak to maybe other young drivers, and how do we manage to find some? Como vamos encontrar mais jovens pilotos?
Temos que juntar mais equipas, se calhar rever algumas situações em termos de custos ou inscrições também, mas penso que será possível, já existem alguns e têm que se juntar a nós.
So we need to find new teams, maybe, and of course maybe, yes, to team up with maybe experienced drivers, so they're both very optimistic that we find new drivers. Also, was machen wir noch für heute? Was ist noch geplant? What are the plans for today? I mean, you've got the trophies in your hands right now.
Yeah, I don't think we make a big party, but yeah, we need to. What?
Just a small.
Just a small. I think a whiskey cola in the evening, and then I think all is fine. We need to remove our tent, and we will also go home, prepare the truck again, and yeah, Nürburgring is only 2 or 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks, and
cool.
Then we are at the Nürburgring, and hopefully we can do the same.
Thank you very much, you guys. Congratulations. So we do see each other at Nürburgring then. That's the next chapter of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. This has been round number 3, first time here in Poland for every one of us. So let's pack up, everyone. But please turn your calendars on and say that we're going to see each other again in 2 weeks, aren't we? Muchas gracias to our commentators. Antonio Albertetti won overall today. So it's been a crazy weekend for every one of us, but we are so glad that we could have the chance to be here in Poland for the first time. Thanks to the marshals, thanks to the team. Sometimes it felt a bit like Tischkraxeling, you know, when you turn around the table and try not to touch the ground. But we all managed it very, very well at the end. So see you soon then. Bye-bye.